Hello, my name is Élodie Valin. I'm in charge of the scientific valorization for NAOS Aging Science. NAOS Aging Science has partnership with international research centers. For instance, we're working with Medils in Croatia, and that's how we discovered the new paradigm of proteome protection. The proteome represents the full set of proteins within an organism. It comes from the ancient Greek, protos, which means first and essential. So why first? It's because it's one of the most abundant components within our body. For instance, at the skin level, we have 70% of water and then more than 20% of proteins. And why essential? It's because they are involved in all the physiological and biological processes within our cells and within our tissue. For instance, at the skin level, the proteome represents both functional and structural proteins. Structural proteins represent the structure of the cells and also of the tissue. For instance, we have keratin, collagen, and elastin. The functional protein, on the other side, are the effectors of all biological processes, from cellular respiration to repair, communication, and also waste elimination. The proteostasis is the perfect balance between the synthesis of new proteins and the degradation and repair of damaged proteins. So within a healthy organ, you have a perfect balance. So at the tissular level, at the skin level, for instance, when you lose the balance, when you lose the proteostasis, then you will damage the proteins, you will alter the degradation processes, and you will switch to proteotoxicity, meaning that these protein aggregates and damages will be toxic for the cell, and then it can lead to, for instance, age-related diseases like Alzheimer, Charcot, etc., and also to skin premature aging. Actually, our proteins, as our body, are exposed to different kinds of environmental stresses. For instance, UV radiations, pollution. This will trigger oxidative stress within the cell that will damage the proteins. Proteins can be targeted by different kinds of damages, and the worst one is called carbonylation. It will freeze the protein into a 3D structure that is not functional. That's how you will lose the proteostasis and in the end trigger premature aging. Chaperones are proteins that are expressed in all cells, in all the layers of the skin. In fact, they are involved in the folding of the proteins so that they have a 3D structure that is functional. In case of external stress, they will be overexpressed in order to have a physical interaction with protein to protect the sensitive amino acids from carbonylation. Carbonylation will target all the protein within the skin and all the layers of the skin. So what does it mean concretely at the skin level? So if we consider the uppermost layer of the skin, which is the stratum corneum, then we will have an impaired hydration process. At the epidermal level, we will have a loss of radiance and of complexion homogeneity. And regarding the dermal compartment, then we will have a loss of elasticity and density firmness. So why protecting the proteome instead of the genome? Actually, the genome, the gene, is what could happen. It's virtual. And what really happens in the life is when genes are translated into proteins, and these proteins are functional. So that's why we have to protect the proteome, because it represents the real life that is happening within our cells and within the skin. By studying extremophilic organisms, we discovered that they have amazing abilities to protect themselves from environmental stresses. Cyanobacteria are able to synthesize 6 different types of bacteriorubberins, which have a high affinity with all types of proteins. That's how they are so potent to protect the whole proteome. Bacteriorubberins have a unique mode of action, as they are at the same time chaperone, meaning that they are a physical shield to protect the proteins, and also a very potent antioxidant, as they protect all the proteins from damage like carbonylation. So the proteome protection is a new paradigm, but it's a meta theory. It's actually a meta theory that englobes all the current aging theories. For instance, you know the telomere shortening theory of aging. So actually the length of the telomeres is related to the aging of the skin. And by protecting the telomere's length, you will protect the skin from aging. That's the function of telomerase, which is a key enzyme, a key protein to protect our cellular DNA. So why protecting the proteome instead of the gene? Actually, the genome, the gene, is what could happen. It's virtual. And what really happens in the life is when genes are translated into proteins, and these proteins are functional. So that's why we have to protect the proteome, because it represents the real life that is happening within our cells and within the skin.